welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And today is going to be a real special episode for me because I get to talk some golf, right? And everybody knows that I love my golf. And we just had the 2022 Masters. And I had to bring my guy, Ken Johnson, on here with me because me and Ken Johnson, we go golfing sometimes together. And I'm going to try to get back in shape because I ain't been in like 2 years. The last time I went was when we went together. So I'm going to try to get back in shape so I can go with you again. But anyways,
That's what's up.
Mr. Ken Johnson, thank you for coming to the show, man. I appreciate having you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. Excited to chop up this weekend that we just saw at Augusta National.
Right,
So
man.
let's do it.
Yes, sir. And man, listen, I hate to do this because it's going to be disrespectful, but I'm not even going to start by talking about the champion. We got to talk about the big cat, man. So listen, I'm sure everybody's aware of it, but the big cat made his return. He had broken his leg. A lot of people thought he was never going to play again, and he decided to return at the Masters. When you heard the big cat was coming back for the Masters, man, how did you feel about that?
Bruh, I had posted, I think it was a tweet, or I put something on Instagram, like if Tiger plays at Augusta National next Thursday morning with them birds chirping, somebody's gonna have to get an inhaler and to come over here and to revive me, bruh. Like when I found out, I was livid. I mean, the fact is, like I told somebody recently, we didn't think we'd ever see Tiger play another major, right? After that car accident was almost similar to a Kobe Bryant situation. You know, Kobe obviously died, but you know, Tiger pretty much could have died in that accident, man. So the fact is, you know, this time last year, we didn't know if we'd ever see Tiger again. And so for him to battle back, and even up until December, you know, people were asking, hey, are you going to play in the Masters? Are you going to play in the Masters? He's like, nah. He's like, nah, you know, there's no way. You know, just physically, I can't do it. And so last week when we saw his jet was in Georgia at that airport, we were like, what? So every day we're just, you know, I'm refreshing my Twitter feed. Every day I'm just refreshing it. Like, is there a Tiger update? Is he going to play? Is he going to do it? And the fact, man, that he played was just huge for golf. I mean, we saw the outpour of people just on every hole, just on the practice rounds, man. I mean, just it's crazy. I mean, what he does for the game of golf is, I mean, in some respects, man, you feel like he's bigger than the game of golf, almost like, you know, MJ with basketball, man. Like, you know, MJ picked up a ball in 20 years and he's still selling shoes. And it's the same with Tiger and golf, man. I mean, you know, he's just an ambassador for the sport. And so I was livid, man, when I found out, excited, smiling, like a kid in a candy store. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, man.
It's always better when Tiger's playing golf, right? And respectfully, I love a lot of the new golfers, man. Like, I feel like right now it's a really solid group of like young and up and coming golfers. And it might be one of the best times in golf as far as like the competition level. Like, I feel like there's a lot of guys that can compete at a high level, but for some reason it's just never the same when he's not out there. So when he's out there, man, it's always a big deal, man. And
I mean, and that
go ahead.
And that was always the conversation being had, right? Is the game of golf, will it be able to survive without Tiger, right? And to your point, Derek, the game of golf is in a great place. I mean, there's so many good up and coming young golfers. I mean, you know, I'm a huge Justin Thomas fan, so I love me some JT. Shout out to Kentucky. You know, he went to St. X, and of course he went to Alabama. But you know, and then you have the rivalries like Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks. You know, they can't stand each other, and you know, us getting to see them play together in the Ryder Cup. And I mean, Abraham Answer. You still got Rory still playing. I mean, you got to think Rory McIlroy has been on the scene for what, almost 20 years?
Yeah.
And Rory's what, 31, 32 years old? So, you know, so Rory, you know, he's still playing. He's still young. I mean, so the game is just in a great, great place. I mean, you know, Colin Morikawa. I mean, you just have so many.
Yes, sir.
You know, and so I was thinking about it this week. just how Augusta National's set up. If you're a good iron player, you typically do well at Augusta. And so I was looking for Colin. He did pretty well, and so did JT for a while. So
Yeah,
the
those are the
game is in
two
a great
guys.
place.
Those are the two guys that I really was thinking was probably going to pull this one out, man. Like, I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie to you. I see. This is what I had said. I said I didn't really expect Tiger to win, but the type of athlete that Tiger is, I just feel like special moments just happen with certain people, and it just wouldn't have
Yeah.
shocked me if he would have just came out and won, man. But what was your expectations when you heard about it?
I mean, because you got to be realistic, right? So Tiger hadn't played, I think, in a tour event in over 500 days, right? So that's a very long time. And so I knew, and he was even saying that physically he could do it. If he could ride in a cart, Derek, when we go play somewhere, if we jump in, we go play at Southwind. If Tiger could ride in a cart, he's normal Tiger. But that physical toll that Augusta National, and I've never been there, but I apply for tickets every year. And they say, bro, it's like this.
You can even tell when you watch it on TV.
Yeah. So, you think about all the hills, and so you think about, okay, the physical toll that it's going to take. I mean, and then, number one, Tiger ain't a spring chicken either, right? So, you're dealing with somebody who's a little bit older, and so he hasn't played. We don't know how this is going to go. So I honestly wasn't expecting him to win it, right? And then you had too many other golfers like Scottie Scheffler that's playing well right now. And, you had going in, people thought Brooks might do something. So there's just too many other guys that have been playing consistently. And you got to think, Derek, we're not going to see Tiger again. I was hoping there's a tourney coming up in a few weeks that he would play in, but he said he doesn't know. But the next tournament will probably be St. Andrews at the Open Championship, right? So Derek, we're never going to see Tiger on the tour like that anymore, right? So for those of us who follow the tour, I'm thinking about trying to go up to Memorial at that tournament, or just your casual the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit. Tiger's not playing in those events anymore. So and it's based on his health and his back. You got to think about all the surgeries. So I think again, I mean, we were just, it was a treat, number one, for golf fans, just for Tiger to be playing, man. And Derek, we've never seen Tiger be so thankful. When you were watching it, did you notice how thankful he was for the fans? Like how many times he tipped the cap, how many times he, was waving and just doing, he was so, because I think for him, man, he realized he could have died, fam. Like, he was just, I think Tiger was appreciative of being out there as much as we were appreciating him being out there. So, yeah. I mean, I think him just playing was a win-win for golf. I mean, again, I didn't expect him to win. And really, when you think about the accident and everything that he's come back from, man, we shouldn't have been even thinking that. But like you said, because he's Tiger Woods, though, we were like, shoot, he could do it.
Yeah.
But, it's just, but you see how hard the game of golf is, man. I mean, you got to, when that wind was blowing and
the wind was eating them up on the second day, man.
Yeah, you think about the wind, you think about, all that, and just the, I don't think he limped too bad. He seemed like he was doing pretty well, but it's just, and again, it's not that he played bad. It's just that in golf, people play better.
Yeah.
Right. And so, Scottie Scheffler said on the 18th yesterday, when he finally, Derek said, "Hey, I can relax," and when he relaxed, he 4-putted to win the green jacket.
Right.
Now, as soon as he said he wanted to relax and just soak it up and take in everything. That shows how locked in you got to be the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about how fast. I mean, Derek, you think about when those guys putt the ball. Notice how they just tap it and the ball flies.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, just how fast those greens are. You look at the difficulty of, the shots, and you're always in, the way it's so the fairways are so narrow that you're always, you're in trees or you're in a bunker. But real quick, and I know we'll probably get there later, but Harold Varner showed off, bro.
Yeah, I know that's your guy too, man. You was rooting for him, man.
Hey, bro, HB3. Now, mind you, to get to Augusta, people don't realize Augusta to play at the Masters, you got to do certain things, right? You either got to be like top 50 golfer in the world. You have to
Have
have
won
either won a
another.
P,
Yeah.
you have to won a PGA Tour event. So he won HB3 won the one over. He won like the international event recently, and then or if you're an amateur, you have to win like one of the top amateur events
Yeah.
in the
It's
country,
usually
right?
only
And
a
so
couple of them that even be in the
yeah,
tournament.
exactly. So even to get in, so the fact is, I've been following HB3 for a while, and and shout out to Ricky Fowler, man. I miss Ricky. Ricky ain't qualifying for nothing anymore, but I miss Ricky. But HB3 qualifies for the Masters, man. I knew he was gonna show off, man. He can play, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just watching him putt and the short game, man. So yeah, it's
And
just
you know why I like
but
him too, man? Because he's always draped out in Jordan gear, man. That's
yeah. Hey, and he plays with MJ all the time too.
yeah, that's what's up, man.
Cause
Uh,
MJ, what's his course name? It's called, what is it called? The
yeah,
Grove 23.
yeah,
Bruh, they said they got helicopters, brother. Like if you on hole 5, the helicopter will bring you whatever you want. Like it's ridiculous, man. But they say he plays with Jordan all the time, and he bets and gambles with MJ, and but yeah, Harold Varner played really well. I think I was looking at all the paydays today. I can't remember how much Varner might have. He got a pretty good payday.
yeah,
Because you're looking at I think Rory didn't win it, but Rory won over $1 million there.
yeah, man.
Like,
He got super hot, on that back nine, man. He started looking like his old self, and I think
yeah,
it's going to actually carry over into the rest of the season because I feel like Rory is always one of those dudes that like when he gets hot, he gets Tiger Woods hot. But then he has
yeah,
moments where he look a little shook and like he's not as confident in himself. But when he gets hot, man, he's dangerous.
yeah. And I think it's like mentally, golf is, we know it's just a mental game. I think sometimes Rory can just get in his own head, right? There was a point, I think on that Saturday, I knew Tiger was done there because he was just in his own head at that point. Like,
Yeah,
and I think Rory can do that. Like he can just have moments where he's just, like you say, he's on it. And then other times you're like, I don't know. But everybody coming into the Masters always chooses Rory because they wanted to get the Grand Slam, right? And so it's interesting, man. But like you said, yeah, so many guys who were just playing well, just throughout the weekend. So I enjoyed every minute of it.
right. Now let me switch gears with you for a second and let me ask you because I know you brought up Ricky Fowler, right? And
Yeah.
to me, Ricky was the one that had if he had the game to match Tiger, he would have been
Mm-hmm.
as big of a star as Tiger, I think. Because a lot of the like, let's just be honest, a lot of golfers
Yeah.
just really ain't stars, right?
Right.
Like they
Right.
good golfers, but they just don't
Right.
got the it factor. But Ricky had it, but he just unfortunately he just has. I mean, like I don't want to be disrespectful. He has top tier game, but it's not
Yeah.
major championship tier, right? But to
Right.
piggyback off of Ricky, right? Because I don't want to just
Yeah.
dog on him. Who disappointed you the most?
Who was I disappointed in the most? That's a good question. Probably. I'm trying to think of my. Probably. I'm not a Jordan Spieth fan per se, but I thought he would have. I thought he would have at least made the cut, right? So Spieth didn't make the cut. Justin Rose didn't make the cut. So just when you think about some of those guys, man, like I thought Abraham Answer. I love Abraham, man. I've been following him for a while. If you guys are not following Abraham, y'all gotta check him out. He's one of the hottest Mexican golfers there is right now. But I would say probably Speed. But to your point too, Derek, it's interesting because I was watching Scottie Scheffler's uh, ceremony last night, and he's just very boring, bro. Like he's just like you said, he's a great golfer, but Scottie just doesn't. I mean, he thanks his wife and just thanks his mom and dad, and just kind of blah. And so you're right, he doesn't have that swag, man, that you think about like the Ricky Fowler. I think, and that's what made Rory McIlroy so big. Because it was just somebody you thought you wanted to go have a beer with, right? So like, yeah, Scottie's boring, I think, and like you're right for golf, man. It's just I think JT. That's probably why I love JT, because he's going to give you. He's snapping off there when he hits a bad shot. He's fist pumping when he gets one. And all that, man. So I think that's where the game of golf, man, hopefully highlighting different sorts of golfers who have personality, right? And don't mind to show you that, the Harold Varners, but yeah, I think Spieth is probably the biggest disappointment, just because you think he would, play a little bit better and make the cut.
Spieth is one that has always kind of left me scratching my head, because he was supposed to be the phenom, right? Because, like, he comes on the scene as a young buck, and he's tearing it up for a minute.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, golfers just started being able to hit the ball way further than him, and then he was lost. And I feel like he pressed to try to hit the ball longer, and he just lost his driver. Like, his driver looked like my driver. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what happens. I mean, Colin Morikawa told a story about how he was going to play Augusta this year differently than how he played it the years before. Because sometimes, Derek, you get caught up and try to play it like this person, or because this person's hitting the long ball. And you're like, okay, you know what? I can hit the long ball in this hole. And then you're like, okay, now if I do that, I'm in the woods somewhere. So you're like, okay, maybe I scale back 20, 30 yards and I'm in the fairway. But now Spieth, man, you think about it, that tells you how hard golf is. That you can have Scottie Scheffler's on a run right now, right?
He is.
What has he won, like 4 into the last 6 or something crazy?
He's already made $10 million this year.
Yeah, so he's on a run right now. But the question is, how long will it last? I mean, that's what separates the Tigers, the Jacks, the Sam Sneads, the Arnold Palmers.
They spent weeks and weeks and weeks at number one.
And then, fam, you think about somebody like, okay, they get a couple tour wins. We're like, wow. And you think Tiger got 82 of them joints. 15 majors.
Look, I was telling some people, because, a lot of people don't really pay attention. It breaks my heart to say this, but a lot of people don't pay attention to golf, really, right? Especially not a lot of black people. Like, let's just be honest. Black people tend to get into golf as they get a little older and they settle down. Like, a lot of married black men play golf, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just kind of fits a married black man's lifestyle, it seems. But one of the things I was telling somebody is golf is so hard that to qualify for the Hall of Fame, you only need to have won like 11 tournaments, man. So imagine you can have like a 20-year, maybe even a 30-year career, and you only got to win 11 times to be elite. That's how hard golf is, man.
Yeah. I mean, and so, there's truly nothing like it. Like, I think I tweeted this week, I was saying, like, I love seeing the pros at Augusta hit bad shots, because it makes me feel better about my game. I mean, that's how, you could see, I was getting on the Masters app, I'm getting, notifications, Spieth just triple bogey on hole whatever, and you're like, and Derek, me and you were like, okay, I can identify with that, like.
That's normally like a good hole for me if I was triple bogeying.
I mean, because you understand, most golfers in the world will not shoot. I think, what is the stat? If they count every stroke, no mulligans, all that foolishness, but if you play the actual rules, Derek, most golfers in America will not shoot below 100. That's how hard golf is, right? And so if you get, I forget the percentages of people who get below 90, but that is, golf is a tough sport. Like, it's funny, because I have friends who play D1 college basketball and they want to pick up golf, and he's doing a great job of learning the game. But I told him, I said, man, this ain't like basketball, bro. Like, you're not going to come out here and just, golf isn't that way. Like, even if you're driving it well, you still got to learn how to hit your irons. You still got to learn how to pitch the ball. You still got to learn how to chip the ball. You still got to learn how to putt. You still got to learn how to read putts. I mean, and we're not even talking about the weather factor and everything else. And so, and dealing with, being in sand traps and all this stuff. So, I mean, it is a tough game, but I love the game, right? And I think, going back to your point earlier about it being, I think when people slow down with life, and I picked up the game, man, when I was 10 years old. So my uncle was really big into golf. I mean, he's met Tiger Woods. If you go in his house, he's got pictures of Tiger in his sports room and all that. And so he introduced me to the game and bought me my first set of clubs. And I started taking lessons over at Whitehaven driving range over there off Richmond Road. And
I took some lessons
so
over there before.
yeah, and so that's where I took my first set of lessons and been playing ever since, man. And my uncle said it. He's like, Ken, I'm teaching you a game that you can play the rest of your life. I'm like, at the time, because I'm playing baseball and everything, I'm like, the rest of my life. But he was right, fam. I'm almost 40 now, and I'm still playing golf. And the game, it's Derek. When we go play, you hit some good ones, you hit some bad ones, but when you hit that good one, that keeps you coming back. And so it's a great game, man. And but nah, it's definitely not easy. And I think that's the thing think about Tiger, 82 wins, man, on tour. That's a lot of wins, fam.
Yeah.
Like against professional golfers, and then 15 majors, and then you find out somebody like Spieth who had a little bit of a run. You're like, what is that Derek, what is that in the big scheme of things? It's good, but it's not. Is it great? And so it's a tough game, man. And I think Tiger.
You can think of some of the guys right now that are definitely going to be Hall of Famers that still they really haven't done, but maybe like 15% of what Tiger, like Brooks Koepka is going to be a Hall of Famer. He had like 4 majors.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he missed the cut in the Masters.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to think now, fam. Now, mind you, this is where it's going to point to the greatness of Tiger Woods. Hasn't played on tour, hasn't been playing any competitive golf. He makes the cut. Because remember, when Tiger announced that he was going to be playing, all the naysayers, he ain't going to make the cut. He ain't going to make the cut. He made the cut and Brooks didn't. What's that? Bro, if anything, that ought to tell people that's the greatness of Tiger Woods, man. Like, that's how good he really is. Like,
yes, sir.
And I just think, and number one, it shows you the drive that he has, man. Like, that dude is driven. Like, and, I think about the great ones like the Kobe's, like the Jordans, like the LeBrons, like the Tom Brady's. Like, he could have easily said, hey, I'm not going to play. But, like, he wants to compete, man. Like, it's just like it's down. And I think right now, I don't know if it's because of his son, Derek, or what, but I feel like he's back to where he really wants to compete, man. Like, so I think he's going to win again. I think he's just too stubborn not to. Like, I just think he's that good. Like,
yeah. I think
once he puts it all together.
I think with him managing his tournaments and leaving all the other tournaments alone and just focusing on majors will help him a lot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he just like you said, I think he probably should have started this maybe 5 or 6 years ago and just kind of left, maybe do a tune up every so often, just do you a tune up.
Yeah.
Just to compete in a real tournament and just focus on the majors, man, because at this point, that's the only thing that he has left to accomplish is just becoming the all-time leading major champion. But really, there's nothing else outside of that he could do. But to go away from that for a second, I'll tell you who I was the most disappointed in, and that's probably Bryson DeChambeau, man. And it's because I feel like he spent so much time working on his length, right? And he got to a point where he's doing insane drives. Like, he's driving the ball 400 plus. Like, I'm driving it like 220 to like, if 220 to, if I really tag it, I might can get 250, 260. You know what I mean? And he's just doing 420. But I feel like he focuses so much on that he probably neglects some of his other parts of his game. And it's disappointing to see him not even make the cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting with Bryson. It's kind of always something. It's either the swing or he's injured or, he hadn't been playing well, so I didn't pick him to go. I didn't even really keep up with him. I didn't watch him. I didn't. He wasn't in my favorites under my Masters app or anything like that. But Bryson, he's an interesting golfer because when he's hot, he's hot. But when he's cold, he's just kind of like blah, And but yeah, I didn't follow him at all. But I think his game is interesting just because he can drive it a mile.
Yeah.
And I think when you get when you can hit it like that, I think that's always fun to watch. But I don't know how how long that will hold up for him. I mean, you think about Tiger Woods. I mean, Tiger. This is what made Tiger dangerous in the '90s, right? Because Tiger could hit it farther than everybody else, and he could put his tail off deep. Like, Derek, how are you going to win?
Yeah, and when he missed the fairway, his scrambling was on point too.
Yeah. So how are you going to beat him? So I mean, if he's out driving you, and he's getting on the green, he's out putting you, you're not going to win. And I think that. So again, Bryson can drive it. I just think, his putting is not, he has an odd stroke when he putts. I think he has that long putter. I don't know if it's the long putter or if it's his hands, but something is odd, at least to me when he putts. And so I just don't know. I mean, but I think he's good for the game of golf just because, there's a lot of, when we were kids, we had John Daly.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the big
Daly,
hitter. I think he was leading the tour, but it was only at like 305 or something, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like guys can hit their 3-woods 305 now. It's not really that impressive.
But back when we were kids, that was the thing, right? And so Daly, he's wearing these crazy clothes and he's drinking and he's out driving everybody, and so John Daly was kind of really big for us around that time.
Yes, sir, man. And just to talk, about my guy. What you looking at, your son?
Oh no, I was actually looking at somebody. Looks like somebody's coming up to the door. So I'm just like, maybe my wife knows who that's coming. So we'll let her tend to that.
Right. I was kind of looking for DJ to make a nice little run, man. DJ's another one that kind of drives me crazy a little bit, man, because I feel like he has moments where when he got it going, like he's crazy with it, but then he has moments where he just fall off.
Yeah. DJ to me, I love how just everything about his game, bro. He puts everything together really well. He's kind of one of those golfers talking about earlier that's just kind of blah though, like kind of.
He's boring.
Really boring, right? But great golfer. And again, he didn't have a bad weekend, but. It just shows you when you play in a tournament like the Masters, man, you got to put it all together.
Yeah.
And so, but now I think DJ's gonna, I think he's gonna be fine this year. I think he's gonna do really well. But he can drive it, he can putt it. But a lot of times, man, he doesn't do things great. I just like DJ does stuff that he doesn't blow stuff.
Except for when he used to blow coke a little bit, man.
Yeah. But with some golfers, it's like, you can watch DJ and he doesn't do anything like, just kind of just goes about it and he drives well and he putts it, he gets the birdie here. But there's no big, like, the type of moment that Rory McIlroy had on 18.
Yeah.
Right? DJ didn't do if you're watching, there's not a lot of aha moments with him. But then you turn around, it's like he's -4. You're like, what? Like, how did that happen? And so to me, he's kind of like, I don't know, a basketball player. I would compare him to somebody that's like a silent killer. Like you look up, and he got 20, 10, and 5. And you're like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Who's like a Derek? Who's like a basketball player give you 20, 10, and 5, and you like, it's kind of like Tata, real quiet, like, and so that's how DJ is, man. He's just real quiet and he's always around, but. You feel like when JT and everybody else when they get hot, it, Derek. Like JT almost hit that hole in one on that. You hit one on that par 3.
Yes, sir, man.
I think it was on hole number 12, and you almost hit that hole in one. You're like, okay, JT's hot. He went for like 4 or 5 straight birdies. You don't really see DJ do that.
Nah, you really don't, man. And I don't know. And I don't know if it's the way he chooses to attack courses. But I really like aggressive golfers. And look, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, but I want to say this. I was looking at something where a professional golfer was talking about how he attacks the greens, and this really shocked me because the way I play the game, right? I'm always flag hunting, right? But he said if he's like 7 iron and out, he's just shooting at the middle of the green, even with a 7 iron. And I'm like, what? And then he said if he's like 8 to like pitch, he's taking the flag and whatever side it's on, and he's halving it and he's shooting it in half of the flag and whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he said he only goes hunting with his wedges, and I was like, a professional? And that just really blew my mind because I was like, oh, I've been playing the game wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
But
And it just a lot of times, I mean, in those courses, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to take you, man, to Houston Oaks, man. We gotta go play Houston Oaks. I was looking at it last night, and just the different bodies of water and where they are. And I'm that guy. I like to lay up all day long, Derek. Like I'm just scared I'm gonna hit it in the water, unless I know, depending on where I'm at, that I can muscle it across. Then I'll try it. But a lot of times I'm laying up, man. But it's just you kind of learn that when the more you spend time at the range, you kind of learn your distances and what clubs you hit really well. And you're like, okay, what can I taste the flag on this? Is this good or is this not? Or am I going to be too long? And I think that's the thing what frustrated me with Tiger the first day. Did you notice Tiger was like the first 9, bro? He was short on everything, like on the green. Everything was hitting the green and coming right back off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was just trying to like play it that way because the way the announcers were like, well, they don't want. He knows this course really well. He doesn't want to be too long. And I'm like, but dang, every shot it's like dribbling off. I mean, it's not, And so but like I said, man, you kind of learn, I guess what suits you as a golfer, and I think that's like, but I hate to do a lot of chipping, so I'm not too comfortable with my when I'm right off the green. And so a lot of it, if I'm 80 to 90 yards out, Derek, I'm trying to put it right there on the green just so I don't have to chip.
Right, exactly, man.
Sometimes in the second shot, is when I'm thinking about playing, I'm like, okay, well, if that second shot, if I'm on a 500-yard hole, I'm trying to lay up just so I can have a decent swing and put it on the green. The next shot, instead of somebody like you, Derek, you might try to say, hey, I'm going for it.
That's what I need to stop doing, man.
You're like, okay, well, you know what? I think I'm going straight for the pin, and it's like, oh. But for me, if I go for the pin, bro, even if I get close, I'm still gonna have to probably be off the fringe, and so that's still gonna make me chip it. And I hate chipping. So
yes, sir, man. Well, hey, listen, man. Look, I appreciate having you on the show, and look. I promise you, I'm promising you right now on record, I'm going to try to get myself in shape, and I'm going to be ready to go full force by the summertime, man, and we're going to get back at it. Because right now, I don't even have any golf balls, man, so that's how I just been out of it, man. I'm going to get myself back together, and we're going to do our thing, man.
All right, you get your game together, I'll bring the cigars.
Absolutely, man.
The cigars, you bring your game. And like I said, man, I'm excited, man. It's about to get warm out, so let's get out there, man.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it, man. And I'm definitely gonna have to have you back on, man. You might have to be my PGA correspondent, man. So we'll get back at it another time, man.
All right, my man. Hey, be blessed, man.
Yes, sir.
For the family.
Yes, sir. You take it easy, man, and we'll do it again on another time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.